Now let's move on to familiarizing the settings and functions in a function generator, also known as sometimes a waveform generator. So this is the initial setup. Again, this what you see right here might be dependent on the manufacturer or the brand of function generator. So you can, although the functions and the settings will remain the same, just the knobs will be placed in a little bit different manner. So first of all, you can turn it on by using the power button, and then you will get this display right here. In the function generator, we are very much interested in mainly 3 or 4 functions. So first of all, we have the button called function. What this does is it will select what sort of waveform you need to produce. So an oscilloscope is an input device where it will take in signals, whereas a function generator is essentially an output device. It will generate waveforms, and you can monitor these waveforms using an oscilloscope. So you can output different types of waveforms. So using this function button, you can select. So right now, if you see here, this is a square waveform. This is a triangular waveform. Then there are other types such as noise as well. Right now, I will come to the basic form of waveform, that is the sinusoidal waveform or AC waveform. And after that, there are 3 parameters that are very much important. Firstly, you have the frequency of the signal, then you have the amplitude of the signal, then you have the offset of the signal. Frequency of the signal is basically your x-axis, and amplitude is essentially your y-axis or the amplitude, and offset is how much higher or lower you need to go in that y-axis. So for the time being, we will not be using the offset. I will just focus on the frequency and the amplitude. So suppose you need to produce a waveform of 1 kilohertz and 5 volts in amplitude, and this amplitude is in peak to peak, that is the peak to peak measurement. So my requirement is sinusoidal waveform 1000 hertz or 1 kilohertz and 5 volts peak to peak amplitude. So how can you insert those values into this function generator? First of all, if you want to adjust the frequency, you need to select this frequency button. Once I select the frequency button, in this particular function generator, you can change the values in 2 ways. You can either rotate it using this knob, and you can see the digits change, and you can jump between the digits using these arrow buttons, right? So you can adjust the decimal values as well. Or what you can do is you can use this number pad to insert what is the frequency that you want, and then below that you have certain buttons corresponding to different units. So this button corresponds to hertz or voltage peak to peak. This button corresponds to kilohertz or VRMS. So depending on the mode that you are in, you can do the change. So suppose I will go to the frequency mode and I will select 1000 hertz. So I will select this button. Then automatically it will come as 1 kilohertz. So you can see a small K here. Similarly, you can adjust the amplitude. You can go to the amplitude button, press the amplitude button, and I want 5. So you can either use the knob to rotate and adjust it, or you can use the keypad. You can type 5 and then press VPP. So this will be inserted here. After that, you basically need to output the signal. To do that, you again have a connector. So on the function generator side, what you have is the same connector as you had in the oscilloscope. This is a BNC connector. But on the other end, you don't have a probe. What you do have is a couple of alligator clips. So red is for the signal or positive, and black is for the ground. So what you can do is, it is very important that you select the output or the main connector. So there are 2 connectors right here. So one is for sync function that we are not using or not covering up in this series, but you should connect it to the main connector. Sometimes this is called the output and this is called the sync. It depends on brand to brand. So again, put the probe or the connector, then twist it to lock it into place, and then this won't go anywhere. It is secure. And to actually output the signal, every function generator will have some form of a output button. So when you press this, you can see it glows in yellow color, and then it will start outputting the signal. And if you connect it to an oscilloscope, you can measure this signal right there in the oscilloscope. So this is a brief overview of the familiarization of the settings and functions in a function generator.